This is the Christian Circle podcast, and you're listening to Pamela Fernandes, where we have conversations about Christian living. Here's the show. Hi there, I'm so excited. This is the first podcast of the Christian Circle podcast, and this is the very first, the one we're going to start with. So the first episode is actually all about what we're really going to do. So it's going to be very short, very concise, very to the point. What is this podcast all about? Well, for one, I feel there's so much that's happening in our lives as Christians, and I often realize that many times my friends and I, do these discussions and talk about faith and talk about where we're heading and how to do things. It's not always possible to go back to our advisors and find out. So we rely on each other. Really is a sense of community to kind of go on with what we're doing, make decisions, or have that support, that backing that you would want. And so we thought, why not start a podcast? Because if we could benefit so much from each other's experience, why not do something for other people as well? I'm sure other people would kind of learn and grow with us. I've realized over the last 8 years, I've had a few sets of friends who've been really instrumental in shaping and helping me, guiding me, praying with me, and kind of keeping me on the straight and narrow. And I thought, well, maybe we could share these conversations with people. So, disclaimer: this podcast is not something that I would say is a guide or like the instruction book or handbook to better Christian living. I must say, you've got to listen to us, but you have to make your own choices. You have to pray. If you want, we can always you can reach us and we can help you out in some way. But before you make any decisions, talk to somebody in person. Talk to someone in your church, talk to someone in your family, someone you trust, and know that they're going to be there for you. That's something that I want to say. Now, whom are we going to call? Well, this podcast is really about everyday people. It's not going to be big celebrities and award-winning people and things like that, because I think there are everyday heroes in our lives. There are many people today who do wonderful, extraordinary work, and they're just ordinary people. And they're heroes in what they do, whether they're teaching, whether they're being nurses, whether they're being firefighters, whether they're being social workers. They're all doing amazing work, and they're not going to be given an award, they're not going to be given a prize, but they're doing fantastic work, and they're still being good Christians. So what I'm actually going to do is call some of my friends, some of the people I know who are in church life, who are in everyday life, who are doing things that kind of build and help the community. So most of these people are going to come in here and talk about their faith, the challenges they face, how they go through the tough times, what they do when it's not so good, how do they go about praying, why they think it's important to do what they do, and what it is like being a Christian as a social worker or as a teacher or as whoever you are, So we're going to call these people, and hopefully I'm hoping we can do 2 podcasts a month, because it's really difficult, and I'm new at this, so it's going to take some time for me to get into the swing of things. But we're kind of hoping that this is going to be a set of people whom you could relate to, people whom you've seen, people whom you've known, representatives of whom are in your own community or in your own parish or in your own church or even your own friend circle. So that's whom we're going to call, and hopefully by the end of this month we will have a set of podcasts already ready. So another thing, no shameless plugs. We're not really plugging anything, okay? We're not proselytizing. We're not telling you that our faith is better or no, we're not doing any of that. I think actions speak louder than words. And honestly, if we're not really acting enough, then we're not doing enough. So this isn't about saying, that we do it better or they do it better. There's no question of that. We're not selling you books, we're not selling you CDs, we're not selling you anything at all. We're not telling you buy this, buy that, and get that. I don't want to do that because that's not what this is about. So a little about me. Who am I? Well, actually, I'm a physician. I am a medical writer, and I am an author of 10 Reminders for the Christian Unemployed, along with some other short stories and things like that. But primarily, I see patients during the day, and I write during the rest of the free time that I have. So those are the things that I actually do and make a living off. So that's who I am. But at the end of the day, I am still a Christian. Yeah, so that's just about me, basically about me. So we're currently stationed in Mumbai, or we're recording in Mumbai. But I do try. We're in New York, Kuwait, and here, shuttling between these three places of Birmingham and Kuwait. So those are the three places that I'm kind of rotating through all the time throughout the year. And that's me, all right, in a nutshell. Now, who are my friends? Well, I said, my friends are these everyday people. They are themselves and writers and nurses and social workers and receptionists and all these things. But at the heart of it all, they're good people. There are people who do a lot of work in the community, who go to house visits, who help in times of real crisis in families, who sit at hospital bedsides when needed, who provide free lunches. So these are people, everyday people. They are people who sing, who play music, who lead worship, who are part of the lecterns and all those things. They're different people from different walks of life with the same goal as we are. So those are my friends, and all of them have had struggles. I will specify that because everyone seems to think that we have it easy, but we don't. Everyone's carrying a different set of cross, a different set of problems, a different kind of and we're all going through a hard time. In fact, even as I'm recording this, it's been 3 months since my dad passed away, and it's not been easy. It's not been easy keeping the faith, believing, and hoping. So it's a hard road. It's really tough, but being Christians is that your hope is in Christ. Everything you believe is in Him. Everything you come from is in Him. And so you know that it's going to be okay. And my friends had the strong belief that, if the community rallies around you, then you can really beat any sort of problem. Any sort of cross becomes easy. Any difficulty, any burden becomes lighter. And I think that's a very beautiful thing because as a church, we're not built on one stone alone. We're all living stones. We're all built on each other. And we're all built on the cornerstone of Christ. So it's important that you remember that if you're somebody who's worshipping alone, remember that there is some part of community that you're responsible to. And how much you take out of a community matters because you should be putting in the equal amounts of that community. So my friends are all these community people. Why did we decide on this title of the Christian Circle? I don't know. I think it was a quote by C.S. Lewis when he talks about Christian friends, and he's got a lot of sayings and writings on Christian friends, and I really liked it. And he talked about having a Christian circle of friends being so much more important than anyone else. And so I said, okay, we're going to get the Christian Circle podcast because we were struggling with names and we wanted to come up with something really soon. We managed to get an image from Pixabay that's credited to the photographer who took it, and that's the image that we use in the podcast. Hopefully you like it. Hopefully it's okay. I was kind of nervous when I did it. So why do a podcast? why are we even doing this? Like I said, I just wanted people to feel encouraged with what we talk about. I've realized that sometimes a lot of what we talk about is extremely deep, very nuanced, um, very theology heavy, and sometimes it is not. And I find that there's a lot that I don't know. There's a lot that I'm unaware of, and some of my friends, some of whom have done, extensive studies, who've done courses, who've done workshops, and even taken up graduate lit studies on these things. They're so full of things to share. They're so full of knowledge and wisdom that I feel it's important that our people hear them. It's enlightening. It's enlightening. It truly is when you kind of hear and read what they have to say, or the books they recommend, or sometimes even verses from the Bible that sometimes I completely overlook, but they feel are important. So I feel these conversations edify me. They kind of teach me and instruct me, and I thought, why not share this with other people? Plus, one of the common complaints that I think have been forefront of the blogging community as far as Christians are concerned, becoming largely negative, or it breaks down into a lot of arguments and fights, and so the community really isn't constructive. So with the blog and the podcast, we were actually hoping that we could build up the community rather than tear it down. It makes no sense, to be honest, to be fighting among ourselves when we all have the same goal, and that is the same Christ, the Christ who is the same yesterday, today, and forever. So there's no question of arguing among people and saying, mine's better than yours, theology on this is better than that, when actually we should be focusing on loving God and loving our neighbor. How, when we're online, a lot of us tend to forget about our neighbor and we're just focused on, chugging the line that we've been taught. So for me, this is one of the discussions I had with my friend who is also going to come on this podcast. I think she's going to come next week. We're going to record pretty soon. So this is one of the things that we talked about, and she said, well, are we going to be primarily Catholic or are we going to be Christian? And I said, well, let's be Christian because, quite frankly, it's the same Christ, and what we wanted to do, what we set out to do was that our conversations should enrich your life and should be able to help you, because I've realized through the last 3 months that life is tough. It's hard and it's painful, and when you're going through grief and you're in sorrow, and when you have sickness and hurt and disappointment, you rely and you require other people. You require your community, and often going through it, that community requires you. So I feel it's so unimportant to focus on the nitty-gritties and focus on the macro economics of what we're really doing as a community, as a group, as people. We need to stand out to the non-Christians as a group, and like how the early Christians were talked about. Look at those people. Look at those people. They are so full of love, and I wish we'd say that about us as Christians. So, like I said, we want to be constructive. We want to build up people. We don't want to see arguments, and we don't want to talk about, oh, your thing is better than my thing, or this is the dogma we follow and this is the dogma you should follow. I mean, come on, the dogma is simple: love God and love your neighbor. And if we can't stick to forget about all the other dogmas that we've got. So that's what we're doing, and that's why we are doing a podcast. We also talked about whether it should be video and whether it should be audio, and for now we're sticking with audio because I find it's easier to record. I'm more comfortable this way. But later maybe we might decide to do video as well and do YouTube videos if necessary. But we're still thinking about it one step at a time. We're still talking about it. And we're starting for now with the podcast, and hopefully if we have a good reception, maybe in the future we might talk about, the next step. But for now, it's going to be audio, and that's what it's going to be, yeah. So what will you get? Well, I'm hoping that we have a good audience, and we can do some giveaways. I mean, this month we're probably planning to have one where we can give away Christian books, of course, plugging saying, okay, this is what you need to get. No, but we're gonna give you maybe music or a book or something once a month. Yeah. So we're planning on doing that, and if you're in India, I can send it right away. Unfortunately, I'm not really sure about the rest of the world. If you're in India and you're listening to us, and you can send us your email and stuff. Of course, all those details will be told to you at the time of the giveaway. But we're doing giveaway a month, so that's what you can get if you're gonna listen to us. And quite frankly, it's not about the gifts that we give. It's actually going to be a lot more about what you can learn, or if you want to, participate in a discussion or talk about something, then yeah, definitely you could always reach out to us. We're there, and hopefully it should be a good thing to get through with podcast, to hear your feedback, to hear what you have to say, or any experience that has enriched your life. I find that a lot of people do explain, how it helps them or how it doesn't help them. And we would love to hear your feedback, your respective. So giveaways are going to be once a month. I'm not yet decided on the procedure of how we're going to do it and what we're going to do. But yeah, we're going to do it, and we're going to do it well. 1 month. So that's about giveaways. Contacting us. Well, you can contact us. You can contact us through Twitter. You can contact us through Facebook and email, although I'm not quite a fan of Facebook, so I'm not there at all. I don't even check the email that is registered to Facebook. I mean, I don't do it. I just don't like it. I don't know why. So I'm on Twitter. In fact, I respond very quickly on Twitter. So if you are, you can always respond or contact me there at Pamela Q, or you could write to me. I can put in an email contact form at the bottom of the podcast. And yeah, that's pretty much how you can get in touch. If at all you want to give in your feedback, you want to tell us what you didn't like, or about the giveaways, if we're asking for names or email addresses or whatever. So ideally, we're hoping that that will get ironed out by the time we arrange our next podcast. Hopefully that will be done. Just a reminder again, this is not a diary or a guide on how to go about your Christian life. This is us talking about what has helped us, how we're going through it, and that you are not alone. And if some of it, and if one line of it can help you, then we'd be really happy and blessed, because we've prayed a lot about starting this. We've prayed a lot about what we need to do, how we need to go about it. And each step of the way, we have really spent time planning and plotting and and deciding what we need to do. So it's one step at a time, but we've prayed a lot about this. So hopefully, you can always listen to us and form your opinion, decide, but always take your decisions to someone else and first before God. So you need to pray before you make any decisions. You need to be able to spend time either fasting or praying, and reading and meeting with an advisor before you do something based on our advice. Okay, so I'm at the 19-minute mark. The first podcast was supposed to be 20 minutes long, and we're almost there. We're really keeping the about 20 minutes, hopefully. Not too long, because I know everyone's attention span is, just like mine, a little bit of deficit here and there. But we just don't want to, go on talking and yakking about stuff. So we're probably going to do 20-minute podcasts, at least for the first 2-3 months, before we see something that requires extensive talking or more extrapolation. So that's it for today, and I hope and pray that you guys, wherever you are in the world, you've not gotten bored or fallen asleep. I will see you maybe in another 15 days, or hopefully sooner, based on when we record, but hopefully soon. So stay tuned, and I'll see you guys really, really soon. Goodbye and God bless. Bye bye. If you'd like to get in touch with me, you could tweet me at Pamela Q Ferns. I'm also on Facebook at Pamela Q Fernandes, or you could check out my blog called An Apple's Mind Spew, where you can subscribe or email me using the contact form. So see you next time. Until then, God bless and take care.